yet gracious host, True and Living. I am in the building. We're here to get to these topics tonight. We're going to be talking about Donald Trump tonight. Donald Trump. We're going to be talking about Mystical. Shake your fast. Watch yourself. Shake your fast. Show me what you're working with. We're going to be talking about these individuals tonight. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. I may have to put the green screen on too. Give me 1 second, y'all. We're going to put a poll in here. Is Trump? Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Is Trump messing up the country? The country. Yes or no? Yes or no? Is Trump messing up the country? Yes or no? Salute the FBA. I see FBA's in the I see FBA's in the building. Is Trump effing up? Is Trump messing up the country? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is Trump messing up the country? Give me 1 second. My fault, y'all. 1 second. All right. Is Trump messing up the country? Let me know. Yes or no? Salute the FBA. I see the FBA is in the building. He said that's a pirate's hat. Yeah, I got the pirate's hat on, you know. Let me put my brim down. Put my brim down. The pirate's hat on today. The country was messed up before Trump. That's a fact. It was. It was. But did Trump further mess up the country? Let's talk about it. You know, if you don't know, Trump right now is begging other countries to help with the what is it the Strait of Hormuz. You know, he's begging countries to help him right now. And I'm just saying to myself, here you have the world's greatest military, atomic bombs, some of the greatest military minds in our military, and we're being out strategized by Iran. Is the country being ran by a simpleton? Respectfully, I have to ask the question, no disrespect to Donald Trump. And I don't think Donald Trump is a simpleton, but clearly there's been some errors made. There's been some errors made in this war. There's been some errors made that we have to address. He's on his hands and knees right now, begging other countries to help. Help me, please. Help me, please. He sound like James Brown. Please, please, baby, please don't go. He's getting his James Brown on right now. Please, please. He's begging all these. Now keep in mind, these are some of these countries, some of these countries, he's the same guy who told all of these countries, you get a tariff. You get a tariff. We're raising a tariff on you. He told all these countries he's raising tariffs on them. All these trade tariffs on him. Now you're asking for help after you told all of these countries that were raising none of them are incentivized to help you. So I'm saying that he's really played a bad hand. I mean, to me, in my opinion, I just feel like, and let's put Donald Trump on the Summer Jam screen. Give me 1 second. Let me put that man on the Summer Jam screen. Oh, my fault. Let me put Donald Trump on the Summer Jam screen. Um, what's going on with homeboy? Put this man on the screen. A lot of y'all voted for this doofus. A lot of y'all voted. A lot of y'all came in here. Y'all was some flag saluting Trump supporters. Where are y'all at? I want to talk to the Trump supporters tonight. Where are the Trump supporters? I want to talk to the flag saluting Trump supporters. I want to talk to y'all tonight. And because a lot of y'all came in through this podcast, came in on this channel, and you guys spoke, highly of Trump. You thought that Trump was the future. You thought that Trump was the only way. You thought that Kamala Harris was absolutely inept of doing her job. She could not do her job. You thought that she was unintelligent. You thought that she didn't have the experience. You kicked her underneath the bus. You said all of these things about Kamala. I want to know, how do you feel today? Are you still riding with Trump? Salute to Belinda. She says, so you think Kamala was better? No, I don't think that Kamala was better. But when we look at the strategy of Donald Trump, clearly it's not working. The strategy he's using. Now, listen, is Trump a good businessman? Yes. Do I think Trump did a good job in terms of um um calling for a state of emergency at the border? Yes, I think that was the probably the best thing he's done, right? But in terms of foreign policy, he's not good. He's not good. He is being out strategized currently by the Iranian government. The Iranian government is out strategizing him. They are shooting $1 million missiles at $30,000 drones. They have a $1 billion missile defense system that is shooting at, drones that don't even cost half the money. We're spending so much money on this war, burning money on this war. And clearly, the war is going to cost us a lot of money. When you think about the oil, when you think about the fuel, you see the gas prices are raising. You see the oil prices are raising. This is not looking good. And he doesn't have a strategy. If Donald Trump's strategy is to get on his hands and knees and start begging like James Brown, please, please, baby, please don't go, please, please. If that is his strategy, then we have a very long road ahead. I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. Somebody says you're afraid of a little war, boy. That's not what it is. And I need y'all to hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I need y'all to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. That's not the issue. It's not about the war aspect. It's about what the war is going to cost us, right? Now, a lot of you voted for Donald Trump with the premise of he was not going to war. A lot of y'all said, let's vote for Donald Trump because we don't want to get into war. We feel like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is going to lead us into a war. That's what the word was. I remember JD Vance said that vote for Trump because we're not going to put you in any type of long-term wars and no long-standing wars, right? They went back on that promise. We have now entered a long-term war with the Iranian government, and we're blowing money fast already. $1 million missiles to shoot down a $30,000 drone. We're being out strategized. Donald Trump is on his hands and knees begging countries to help him with the Strait of Hormuz. The oil prices is raising. Did y'all hear about they shut down the lights in Cuba? This is not looking good, bro. This is not looking good for us. We got 34 people in the building. I need y'all to hit that like button. I need y'all to hit that. I need y'all to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me get to some of y'all comments. Um, turn Tom says almost finished with the first term. Listen, man, this let me ask y'all this question for the people that are Trump supporters, right? And I want to speak to the Trump supporters. This is about the Trump supporters. I want to speak to you tonight, right? I think it's important that I speak to you. Um, why did you guys think that it was a smart idea? Respectfully, I'm not trying to challenge any of your intelligence, but why did you think it was a smart idea to put the same man in office again? The same man who led us into a worldwide pandemic. It shut down the world. You decided to give this man the presidency again, and now he's leading us into a war that could lead into a world war. Why did you guys feel it was necessary, absolutely necessary, to put him back in office? And listen, I'm not here to challenge any of you use intelligence. I just want to hear you guys' side of the story. I know that you guys felt like Kamala wasn't ready for the job, qualified for the job. You didn't like her personality. I know that you had your gripes with her. You felt like she had the border wide open. She was the border czar. She did a terrible job. I understand all of that. But I want to know, why did you decide to put this man back in office? Why did you feel it was necessary? Why did you feel that it had to happen? We got 51 people in the building. I want y'all to hit that like button. We got 51 people in the building, but we only got 3 likes. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm just here to ask y'all questions. Two Door says, it ain't costing me nothing because I don't buy nothing. It's gonna cost you in the long run. If you're a homeowner, it's gonna cost you to put, put oil to make sure your home is heated. It's gonna cost you if you're a car, excuse me, if you have a car and you're putting fuel in your car. It's gonna cost these businesses. It's gonna cost us in the long run. Now, my thing is this, right? Trump is on his hands and knees right now, begging other governments, other countries, right? He's begging. This is the same man who hit all of these different countries with tariffs. Hit all these different countries with tariffs. We don't need your business. We're going to raise the tariffs on you. We're going to raise the tariffs on you. Now he's on his hands and knees, begging these countries to help him. Y'all don't think that this man has not been thinking strategically? Y'all don't think that this man has been doing long-term thinking? Clearly, he has not. He has not been thinking long term with a lot of the strategies he's been doing. He's been doing a lot of things based off of reaction. He didn't even know or have a clue that the Iranian government was going to strike all of those Gulf countries. He had no clue. Now, how does that not factor in when you have military bases in all these different countries? How does that not factor in? Y'all don't realize that this man is being out strategized by the Iranian government. Let's be real here. He's being out strategized. Your thing is somebody just called me a heathen. Yo, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Yo, we got 54 people in the building. Vent is in there regulating. Salute the Vent. Salute the Vent. Let me put Vent. Let me post his joint. Um, let me get to some of y'all guys' comments. Somebody says, "Do you know where we are in Revelations?" I don't know. You tell me. Enlighten me. I want to be enlightened by you guys tonight. Tonight, I want to be enlightened. Tonight, I want you guys to enlighten me. Enlighten me tonight, because I would love to hear from you guys tonight. Um, Payne says you shouldn't even give him credit. He's a fool. Listen, man. Donald Trump is. Let me tell you what I think Donald Trump is doing. Right. Let me give you what I think Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump is putting America in a very bad position. Let me tell you why. He's putting us in a very bad position politically, nationally, on a global level. Every government in every country now has come together and say, no, we're not going to help America. We're not going to help you with the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to help you. We're already hated by a lot of these countries. He's putting us in a position of isolation. He's putting us in a position where, now remember, right now as it stands, America is the, you could say we're the number one country, right? Politically, right? We're the strongest country, or we're looked at as it like that, right? Now that all of these countries are pulling away, they're not offering help because we have now aligned ourselves with Israel, who is absolutely, who has absolute. I'm not even going to talk about Israel. I'm not even going to go there. But we're being put in the position of isolation. We're being put in a position of being hated even more collectively. And that is going to allow the superpowers, the Russias, the Chinas, who already have the influence to come in and take over. We're talking about New World Order here. We're talking about a change of the system here. I want to know what you guys think of that. Larry says corporatism, nationalism, autocracy. Yeah, yeah. Um, Democrat says Trump is great freeing Iran. Carlton says he's a clown. Listen, let me ask y'all this, right? Because I said this earlier on. Give me one second. I said this earlier on social media. Who do you blame for Trump? Do you blame the Republicans and the MAGA supporters for Trump, or do you blame the Democrats? Me personally, I blame the Democrats for Trump. Because listen, we could kick in the backs of Trump supporters. We could say that they were a cult. We could say that they were out of control. We could talk about January 6th. We could talk about so many different instances with MAGA and so many things, right? But in my opinion, it was the Democrats who created the monster of Donald Trump. They created him. If they would have just left this man alone when he left office, listen, I understand it was traumatic. January 6th was crazy. It was a lot of nonsense going around. It was a lot of stuff that you guys wanted to get back at him. But I feel like if the Democrats would have just left this man alone, let this man go to Mar-a-Lago, play his golf, pay off a couple adult performers, hold hands with Melania, and just live his life and just leave the man alone. The Democrats said, no, 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 no. We're going after him. They went after this man. They tried to throw him in jail. They sued him and they sued him. All types of lawsuits being thrown at him. He was incentivized to come back. He was incentivized to come back with a vengeance. And it's all because of the Democrats. They decided not to let up. They decided to lean in, to go further. That's my opinion. Somebody says you're wrong. I disagree. I feel like if the Democrats would have just left this man alone, let this man go on his go, I think he would have chilled out. I think he would have said, you know what? I had a good run. I had a good 4 years. I'm gonna go I honestly think he would have been fine with just playing golf and living out his life. It was the Democrats who decided to lean in. They decided to stalk him. They decided to go after him on the criminal aspect. They decided to sue him. They decided to do all these different things. They're kicking down the door, the Mar-a-Lago, the feds are kicking down the door. You got stolen files in here. They went hard. RICO indictments, all of this nonsense, Fannie Willis, all of this nonsense that the Democrats created. They created this monster. If they would have just left this man alone, leave the man alone. California says he's a sociopath and a narcissist. You are so wrong. I disagree. Listen, I agree that he's a sociopath. I agree that he's a narcissist. I believe he would have chilled out, though. I think he would have said, you know what? I had a good run. He would have said, you know what? I had a good run. I think that he felt incentivized on coming back because he had something to prove now. Now that you guys are coming after me, there's nobody in the Republican Party that's bigger than me. You guys are coming after me politically on the criminal aspect. Why not come back? Why not come back and come after all of you? He was incentivized to come back. If he legitimately did not run for president and win, he would probably be in prison right now. He would probably be dealing with more lawsuits on top of lawsuits. He felt incentivized. I have to come back because I'm fighting for my life now. You guys tried to put me in prison. You guys have been suing me. You're trying to take all my money. You guys are doing everything against me. So I have to come back, get some type of power to come back at you guys and fight this war. I don't know how you guys don't see that. Hey, I need y'all guys to hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got people in the building. Um, Van Z says, if you don't like it, get the hell out of here. If you don't like it, you can get the hell out. Hold on. Generation says it's okay. Joe Biden's still in the club. Larry says, great mystery. How much does it take to build all these cities in such a short time? I'm reading some of the comments, some of you guys. But listen, how do you guys feel about that? Who created this monster? Do you feel like MAGA created this monster, or do you feel like the Democrats created this monster? I feel like the Democrats created this monster. They decided not to let up. Now we got some Trump supporters in the building. I want to know, how do you feel about your commander in chief on his hands and knees begging like Keith Sweat? Baby, baby, I know, but you don't know what I do. He's begging like Keith Sweat to all these countries. Let us through the Strait of Hormuz. He's sounding like Keith Sweat. Baby, you did me wrong. You know I got. Baby, baby, I know. Why won't you let me in the Strait of Hormuz? He's begging. How do y'all feel about your commander in chief begging? He's begging. Come on, bro. He's being out strategized by the Iranian government. Out strategized by this government. What do y'all feel about that? How do you feel about your tax dollars paying for $1 million missiles to shoot down a $30,000 drone? How do you feel about that? I want to know. I'm curious. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all checked in here. I want to know how y'all feel about that, man. I'm curious about that because I'm puzzled or where we're headed with this country. I'm puzzled. Where are we headed with this country? Where are we going with this country? We're not headed in a good direction. Generation says when Goliath fell with a mighty crash, David's name lives forever. Salute. He says, Weird says, I'm not embarrassed. Vavi says, y'all need to leave America. Get out of my country. Vaviz, what are you mad about? You mad that the people of America are not happy with this war? People don't want to go to war for Israel respectfully? Some people just don't. Some people, their minds and their hearts are not there. I was in the Middle East when the whole thing went down. I wanted to get the hell out of there. I was like, man, I'm just a kid from Long Island. I don't belong here. I don't got nothing to do with what's going on here. Whatever y'all fighting over here, whatever y'all got going over here, ain't got nothing to do with me. Let me get my ass out of here. You know? Come on, we got our own issues in America, man. Since when? Like, Trump's whole spiel, his whole spiel was telling the American people, we don't want to fight any long-term wars. We don't want to do foreign wars. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. We don't want to, enter ourselves. Here we are, and he's entered us into a foreign war. Do any of y'all feel any responsibility for that? Do any of y'all feel like, as a Trump supporter, do you feel like, you know what? We voted for someone, and listen, we all know politicians lie. We all know politicians lie. We all know politicians say whatever they can to get the vote. But do you feel bamboozled? Do you feel like, you promised us no wars? You promised us peace and prosperity. Let's not even mention the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is skyrocketing, right? He promised us more jobs. He promised us no foreign wars. He's going back on all these promises. All of the promises that he told you guys that he was going to enrich America with, he has gone on and he has turned back on those promises. How do you guys feel about that? Do you feel bamboozled? Do you feel like you got, lied to? Kara says you ain't doing such a bad job yourself. Okay. Comic says Trump's the best. Tell me why Trump's the best. I want to know. Serge says so that means no more pork chops for you. I don't eat pork chops. Um, what's it called? Conrad says maybe you told a few lies today. What lies did I tell? Tell me what lies I told. Generation says no because I don't vote. Oh, so here we have somebody who didn't even vote. Eddie says the job I work value saving the company on labor than keeping the paid. Okay, I don't know where you're going. You shouldn't have voted for him now. You can't die with a conscience. Listen, man, you know, I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Kamala. I voted as an independent, you know. That's what I voted. I voted as independent. I felt that neither one was good enough for the country. I felt like America got dealt a bad hand. I mean, it's like you know what that election season was like. It's like it's like you're neck deep in piss water. Imagine this: you're in a big hole, right? You're in a big pit neck deep to piss water. And there's somebody standing at the top of the pit with a big bucket of just dung, dog and horse dung. And you got two options. Either you can let this person throw the horse dung on your head, or you can go underneath and dive and miss it. And but you gotta go underneath with the piss water. That's what I felt that this election was. I felt like that election was pretty much that. We got dealt a bad hand. I didn't feel that neither one of them was good enough to run America. That's my opinion. I didn't remove any of your comments. I didn't remove any of your comments. I don't know, maybe that's somebody else, but that's not me. Um I mean you could tell I'm not getting rid of the comments because I'm mostly talking to you guys. I'm looking at your comments and reading them, but I'm not deleting anything. Um Somebody says, yeah, he does what he says. I mean, does he do what he says? He said that he was going to give America more jobs. That's not happening. He said that America was not going to be in any type of long-term wars. We've just entered a long-term war. This war is not ending tomorrow. This war is not ending next month. This is a long-term war. Any Middle Eastern war is a long-term war. It's not a short-term war. You're not gonna go in there like you did with Venezuela and throw a couple flash bombs and grab up the president and walk out. That's not gonna happen with this. Rod says the job market is up. That's an absolute falsity. The job market is absolutely down and unemployment is up. So what are you guys talking about? Let's keep it real. Don't lie in here. Keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. Um, Somebody says voted for neither, then you don't care what happens. You didn't vote. I voted. I voted independently. Rod says, man, this is only week 3. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a long time, man. Week 3? 3 weeks of war? I mean, who voted for that? Did you vote for as a Trump supporter? Did any of you vote for 3 weeks of war? Did you vote for a war in Iran? Did you vote for, soldiers, U.S. soldiers dying in foreign war? Did you vote for that? Did any of you vote for that? Did any of you vote for that? I want to know. Somebody says, "Where is your logic in that? If you vote, can you vote in incumbent? Hold on, incumbent president in your office? You are responsible." Listen, I voted independently. All right, I felt like neither party had the right candidate for my vote, so I voted independently. All right. Wayne says, "How you saying that's false when you look at the stats? It says unemployment is down. Unemployment is up. Unemployment is up. I don't know what stats you're looking at. I think maybe you're looking at the stats from last year. If you look at the stats now, the job market is down. Unemployment is high. I don't know what stats you're looking at. Unemployment is up. It wasn't on the ballot. Somebody says you voted for RFK. No, I didn't vote for RFK. I voted for the Green Party and independently. Um, Somebody says I stand against any enemy. Who's your enemy? Is Iran your enemy? Somebody says Donald Trump smacked the world. Donald Trump ain't smacking the world. Donald Trump is looking like a fool. Donald Trump is making America look like fools. He's being out strategized by the Iranian government. The Iranian government is putting $30,000 drones in the sky, and they're being shot down by $1 million missiles. This war is not being financed right, clearly. This war is not being financed correctly. Weird says, while no incel still dares to do anything. Chris says he's an embarrassment. Somebody says, God bless Trump. Listen, man, Trump is doing an absolutely terrible job running this damn country. And maybe you guys should have given Kamala a chance. Maybe. Was that biracial woman? Listen, I know she smelt like curry chicken. I know you guys didn't like that fake laugh. I know you didn't like the laugh. I know black people, you didn't like the fact that she said she cooked collard greens in the tub. Listen, I know that, I understand that you guys had your issues with Kamala. Come a million. You come and go. Come, Kamala Harris. I know you guys had your issues with the woman, but man, could you have given her a shot? Could you have given her a chance? Could you said, you know what? We're gonna look past the fact that you're a mammy. We're gonna look past the fact that you got a thousand pantsuits. You got more pantsuits than Steve Harvey. We're gonna look past all of this. We're gonna give you a shot. Gonna let you be the first woman president. Could you guys have opened up your hearts? I'm just asking the question. It's a hypothetical. I'm just asking the question. Could you guys have opened up your hearts to that? Yeah, people saying nope, F no. That's the same as Vince says scamula. We got 200 people in the building. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Look, who do y'all, let me ask y'all this. This is a good question. Who do y'all see on that Democratic ticket for 2028? Who do y'all see on that ticket? Do y'all see a Hakeem Jeffries? Do y'all see a AOC? A lot of people are saying Gavin Newsom. Um Ilhan Omar. Could you guys see Ilhan Omar on there? Who do y'all see on that 2028 ticket? Who do y'all see? Michelle Obama? Who do y'all see? Somebody says I miss Obama. I don't. Somebody says Elon Musk. Elon Musk. That guy's a Nazi, man. That guy's a neo-Nazi. Gabe says Oprah's not running for president, man. Oprah's not running for president. Stephen A. Smith, really? I don't see Stephen A. Smith running. I think he's getting too much money at ESPN. Um, Somebody says no one you just mentioned. Stanley says AOC and Newsom. That'll be interesting. I don't think Newsom would run as a vice president. I think Newsom he wants that top position. I could see Newsom running for that top position. If anything, he would probably make AOC his vice president. It's going to be interesting, when that does, come around. Hopefully we'll have a country. I mean, with the way Trump is running things right at this point in time, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That pool though. Somebody says no Democrats. I agree. Like the pool of Democrats, and maybe we should address that. Maybe we should address that. I think we should address that. The pool of Democrats is kind of weak. It's kind of weak. The fact that Trump won these elections is the fact that he's such a powerful force. He's such a force of nature in the media. He's such a force of nature. He's such a cult of personality that it's like it's almost hard. Well, I'm not going to say it's hard not to vote for him because it's very easy not to vote for him, but he's such a cult of personality. He's such a powerful force media wise. Um, I mean, I think voting for Kamala Harris really wouldn't have made sense for a lot of people, especially for the just for the person voting the first time, and they're just going off of what they're seeing, right? Um, so I don't see nobody in the Democratic Party that's a force of nature. I mean, Gavin Newsom, he has the the charisma of a boiled egg. um Kamala, she wants to run again. I think that people are tired of her. They don't want to see her back in there. AOC, I think the Democratic Party would be kind of stupid to allow another woman to run on the ticket as a president, maybe as a vice president, but as a president, I think that the Democrats need to kind of, revamp and say, we gave a woman a chance twice. We gave Kamala a chance. We gave Hillary a chance. We've lost. Let's put a man there and let's see what we can do. Let's see. Maybe we could get some motion going. So I don't think they'll take a chance on another woman if they want to win. Um, Now, I do think the Democrats have a chance against JD Vance. I do think they have a chance against JD Vance, but I think that it's incumbent of who it is. Is that person that's going to be on that Democratic ticket? Are they going to be a force of nature powerful enough to win the election? I don't think so. Somebody says The Rock. That would be interesting if The Rock ran. Hey, I'm hearing Jake Paul. I'm hearing Jake Paul may be running for president. Donald Trump was giving him like praise, saying that he could see him one day running for president. Maybe Jake Paul. We'll see Jake Paul at some point. How do you guys feel about that? Oh, Marco Rubio, but Marco Rubio, I think he's gonna go against JD Vance for the Republican nom. More than likely, that'll probably happen. Yeah, man, but that 2028 election is going to be interesting. A lot of people, me personally, I'm ready to get away from the whole MAGA era. I think the MAGA era has been it's been entertaining. It's been entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I think Trump is probably the most entertaining president of our lifetime. He's more entertaining than anybody else, right? I mean, and, I'm a millennial born in '89. He's probably the most entertaining president of my lifetime, right? But I'm ready. I think I'm over the MAGA. I think I'm over the MAGA era. I'm over it. I'm ready for the next era. I'm ready for I'm over the MAGA era, man. I think we've had enough of the MAGA. It's time for it's time for something new. I'm not rooting for JD Vance to move forward. I'm definitely not looking for a third term. I don't want to see nobody run a third term. I think 2 terms is good enough. 8 years, 2 terms, that's good enough. We don't need third terms. We don't need that. We don't need that. We do not need third terms. Yeah, we do not need third terms, man. Um, yeah, but Donald Trump, he's been running, he's running this country into the ground. And you Donald Trump supporters, you're not answering my question. How do you feel about your commander in chief on his hands and knees, begging like Keith Sweat? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about him begging like Keith Sweat? Baby, baby, I know, but you don't know what I do. He's telling the United Kingdom. He's telling China, ooh, baby, you did me wrong. Baby, baby, I know. He's telling the Chinese government, see you last night, saw you standing there, complexion, color of your hair. He's hitting these governments with all this begging like Keith Sweat. Did you not tell all of these different countries and governments that we're going to hit you over the head with these ridiculous tariffs? Now you're on your hands and knees begging? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Somebody says, I don't see no begging. He was begging. He's begging. He's begging NATO. He's begging all these different countries to help him with the Strait of Hormuz. He's begging. What's with all this begging? We got the best military on the planet. We got all the nukes. I mean, come on now. What are we doing? What are we doing? What's with all the begging? What are we begging for? You're using $1 million missiles to shoot down a $30,000 drone. What's with all the begging? I don't get all the begging. What are we begging for, Donald Trump? What are we begging for? Stop with all the begging. Send SEAL Team 6 down to Iran and regulate. You know, do something. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I blame the Democrats. Some people may say, "Why are you blaming the Democrats? Why are you not blaming the Trump supporters? Why are you not blaming the people that empowered him? Why are you not blaming the people that stood behind him? Why are you not, blaming the people that enable him?" And I say, do they play a part? Yes. But ultimately, the Democrats created this monster. Yes, the supporters enabled him, but who created the monster? The Democrats created the monster. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. They created this monster. Somebody says, so you want Trump to regulate the Iranians? He got to do something. He got to do something. The price of gas going up, the price of fuel, the price of oil. He got to do something. I mean, he gotta regulate something. He gotta get something in motion, something moving, something going, something moving. All this waiting, all this begging on your hands and knees. I don't like all this begging on your hands and knees, begging like Keith Sweat. I don't like it. I'm not rocking with it. He got to make something happen. Listen, this is your commander in chief. Y'all put this man in office. Y'all enabled this man. Y'all got behind this man. Y'all thought that this man was the best option for America. You know. Some Stanley says NATO says no thanks, Tariff Boy. Exactly. The NATO. Anybody ever seen Paid in Full? Remember the scene in Paid in Full when Cameron was like, "Yo, pardon my back, pardon my back." That's essentially what NATO did to Trump. They say, "Yo, pardon my back, yo, pardon my back." Like, bro, they not respecting Trump's handle, and I'm saying that doesn't look good on a global level. This is our commander in chief. Now, I have a bone to pick with Trump. I was on vacation. I was headed to vacation, and I'm on a plane headed to Dubai, and I hear this. I hear the commander in chief talking about fire and fury, Operation Fury, fire and fury, and I'm just on the plane like, yo, man, what is he talking about? I'm headed to Dubai. I'm not thinking that this is affecting me. I'm headed to Dubai. We are striking Iran. We are headed to Iran. We are striking them. 30 minutes later, the Iranian government does a full strike on all the countries in the Gulf region. I can't even land the damn plane. We can't even land the plane in Dubai. Yeah, you got me stuck in the Middle East for 4 or 5 days. You ain't doing nothing for the American citizens. You ain't trying to get us out of there. You ain't got no rescue effort. You ain't hitting up the embassy, finding out where we at. This nigga left us out there for dead. He didn't give a squirrel fart about the Americans that was out there. I was out. Was anybody out there in the Middle East during that whole Iranian missile strike? I was out there. I was in the Middle East. He left us out there, stranded. Like, y'all figure it out. Y'all figure it out. I'm looking at the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, they working on efforts to get their citizens out. I'm looking at the Indian government. The Indian government trying to get their citizens out of there. Trump talking about fire and fury, fire and fury. And then he says this. He says this on the thing. Yeah, a few Americans may have to die in this war. That's what he said. I'm watching the TV like, yo, is this nigga serious though? He got me stuck in the Middle East. And he's doing this right now. This nigga's a clown. All you Trump supporters who think that this man cares about you or he cares about America, you got a whole nother thing coming, bro. This man don't give a squirrel fart about you. He don't give a squirrel fart about your brother, your cousin, your niece that's in the army. That's and salute to them if they're in the service. This nigga don't give a squirrel fart about you. He don't give a squirrel fart about this country. Letting y'all know that right now. So a lot of you Trump supporters, man, and like I said, I'm going to continue to blame the Democrats. I do think the Democrats are to blame for this because if the Democrats would have just, had a primary, if you would have told Jim Crow Joe, NyQuil Joe, Dayquil Joe, Benadryl Joe to step down and allow the Democrats to run a primary, you possibly would have got a good candidate to run against this man. But no, no, no. Jim Crow Joe, Benadryl Joe, NyQuil Joe, nighttime and daytime cough Joe did not want to step down. Am I lying? Somebody says, all he cares about is getting rich off us. That's a fact. That's a fact. Donald Trump just wants the power. He just wants the power. He wants the vengeance against the people who have come against him. That's all he wants. This ain't about nothing else but that. That's what this is all about. You know? And we're not even going to talk about his small hat handlers. Do y'all want me to get into his small hat handlers? Do y'all want me to get into that? That's a whole nother rabbit hole. The small hat handlers. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'll let y'all go through that rabbit hole. But his small hat handlers, you could probably blame that. Bro, have you heard of black fatigue? Yes, I've heard of black fatigue. I've done shows. I've done lives on black fatigue. Black fatigue. I've done live streams, I've done videos on it. If you watch, I don't know if you ever heard of the Star Report. He's a legendary radio host. He does live streams on YouTube. He's one of the greatest um radio personalities of all time, Star Troy Terrain. We did a whole show on black fatigue, talking about black fatigue. So you can go check that out. You can go check out my channel where we talked about black fatigue. We talked about it at length. Um, yeah, man. But listen, it's a very interesting thing, man. It's just a very interesting thing, man. I mean, Trump is just running this country into the ground. This war is being mismanaged. I mean, we're headed financially with this war. We're headed into the George Bush era. You remember when George Bush was spending millions and millions and billions of dollars on the war? He claimed that Iraq had weapons of mass destructions. They flipped over every rock. They flipped over every bunker. They flipped over every uh, um curry chicken stand. They flipped over every falafel stand. They flipped over everything. They flipped over the Saddam Hussein statue, and they didn't find one weapon of mass destruction. But they did. But we got the receipt to we got the receipt for the war though. billions and billions of dollars spent on a war. I mean, we're headed in that direction, if you ask me. We're gonna be spending billions and billions of dollars on this war, and it's just like, you know, nobody asked for this. Who asked for this war? Somebody says, remember in 2015, everyone was laughing about him running for president. Yeah, I remember that. It was a joke at one point in time that him running for president. But I remember when I was a kid in high school. I mean, when I was a kid in high school in 2007, 2006 or 7, and I remember a white teacher. This was around the Democratic primaries, and um and somebody was like, "Oh, Barack Obama, he might be president," and everybody in the class laughed, ha 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 ha, ha. And it was a white teacher in that classroom. I will never forget it. Remember, everybody in the classroom laughed about Barack Obama. Somebody said Barack Obama might be president, and everybody in the class laughed. And then there was a white teacher that said, "He's not going to win. There's no way he would ever win." And then the rest is history. So I mean, it happens. It happens. You know. But this is your commander in chief. This is your commander in chief, man. Y'all voted for him. You know. Y'all allowed this man. Y'all incentivized him. Y'all enabled him. You know. He ushered in the pandemic. Nobody said, you know what? He did usher in the pandemic. Maybe we shouldn't let him in office. When you guys reflect on Donald Trump's first terms, right? Let me ask you, Trump supporters, this: what are your good memories? Because I just want to know your state of mind when you voted for this man again. What were your good memories? I see that we got a few Trump supporters in here. What were your good memories from the first term? Was it the pandemic? What was it, the civil unrest and all the protests around the country? What was it? What was a good, like, when I go back, even though I have my criticisms of a lot of presidents, I could reflect on good times, right? I could look back at a Bill Clinton era presidency, and I could say, you know what? The country was financially in a very good space. It was financially in a very well place. Financially, we're in a very good place around that time. So I can look back at that. I can go back to George Bush, even though it was a lot of terrorism happening, stuff like that. I did feel safe in America post 9/11. I felt safe in America during the George Bush year. Did he overspend on the war? Did he do too much with that? Yes, but I felt safe in America around that time. Um, then you reflect on, Obama. You could say the first black president. You could look at the, affordable care. I'm not a proponent of the Affordable Health Care Act, but I'm just putting it out there. A lot of people are proponents of it. Um, so there were things to look at with a lot of these presidencies. And then you can look at, different, things that he put, in politically, and, bills that he allowed to go through and things that he signed off on. But what I'm asking the Trump supporters is, what were the good moments in his first term that you reflect on and you say, you know what, that's why I voted for him the second term? What were they? What were they? What were they? Somebody says all of them. Well, let us know. What were they? Was it the pandemic? Was it the civil unrest? Protests around the country, or what were they? Somebody says, I remember Pelosi saying, he is here today, gone tomorrow. Did she say that? I don't remember her saying that. Somebody says the economy was booming. It was so good, everyone was saying it was Obama's economy. Let's be honest about that. Did Trump benefit from the Obama years? If we look back in hindsight, we could say yes, he did. He benefited from the Obama years, right? Did he sustain? Did he keep it in a good place? Yeah. But I mean, did he benefit from the Obama years? I would say he did. He benefited from the Obama years. He absolutely did. He absolutely benefited from the Obama years. I think that we're being disingenuous by saying he didn't. He absolutely benefited from the Obama years. He did. Nunya says you won't give him credit. I've given Donald Trump credit. I said that when he when he ordered a state of emergency at the border, I felt like that was the right thing to do. I felt like that was a smart thing, and I think that at this particular point in time, I think that that was the best thing he did for this country. I think I'm talking about his second term here, his second term, the term we're currently on. I think that him ordering a state of emergency at the border was ultimately the right thing to do, and it was a good thing he did that. I think that was smart. I think I give him kudos for that. It needed to be done. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had the ball. Somebody needed the balls to do it. So I give him credit for that. But that's the only thing I'm going to give him credit on. That's the only thing I'm going to say. You know what? That was something smart he did. That was something that he did that was good. Anything else, I'm not really rocking with him. I'm not really rocking with him. I'm not. I mean, I can't point to anything else and say, you know what? This was smart. This was good. You tell me. I wanted to hear what you guys felt. What did you feel? Somebody's now calling me Uncle Ruckus. So this is what I don't like about the liberals. You know, you hear one black person that has been sitting on this stream critiquing Donald Trump from the beginning all the way to the point where we're at now, and you hear me give him one kudos. You hear me give him one gold star for one thing, and your butt hurt. Your butt. See that I could never rock with liberals, right? First of all, a lot of white liberals, let's just call it what it is. A lot of white liberals are racist, right? They want to stand on the whole, oh, I'm modern and I'm so liberal and I'm so futuristic and yeah, like I'm like, bro, a lot of you white liberals, you're just undercover, you're covert racist, all right? That's really what it is. Let's just be real. You're covert racist. All right, you're just a white man. That's a racist. You're a liberal racist. I feel like, you know what, and let me say this. Let me say this. I can respect a racist, right? That is at least honest to my face and say, this is where we stand. What I don't like about the liberals, they're covert racist. They're like agent racist. They're like undercover, covert, Mission Impossible, James Bond type racist. I don't like that. I want to know where we stand. I want to know exactly where we're at, where we stand. The liberals like I seen this, right? This is from a liberal. This is what I heard a liberal say. I heard a liberal say it's okay to call a black ICE agent the N word. He said it's okay to call a black ICE agent an N word. You're a liberal saying that it's okay to say the N word. In any other facet of life, if it was it was a black criminal robbing a store, you wouldn't feel that it was okay to call a black person an N-word. If it was a black person committing a crime, if it was a black person doing something wrong, something evil, you would say no, even though he's a criminal, let's not call him an N-word. But just the fact that you hate Trump so much and you hate ICE so much, you think it's okay to call a black person an N-word because they're an ICE agent. That's the mentality of a liberal racist white person. That's their mentality. They don't stand for nothing. And that's the reason why the Democratic Party is where it's at. It's in a shithole today because they don't stand for anything. They don't stand for anything. They don't stand for America. They don't stand for anything. Their party has been wrapped up into just hating Trump. You guys don't have anything that you stand for. What do the liberals and the Democrats stand for today? What do they stand for? Do they stand for hardworking Americans? Do they stand for tax-paying Americans? Do they stand for the homeowners? Do they stand for the people that pay their salary? No. All of their issues are wrapped on hating Trump. Bro, you're not talking to the American people. Talk to the damn American people. Hear what they want to hear, what their wants and needs. Stop looking for, respectfully, a trans gentleman who's a monolith, who, who's in the small minority, and working on all of their issues, and talk to the American people, talk to the common man. Yeah, man, it's out of hand, bro. It's out of hand. But listen, yo, I'm gonna shift to the next topic. I just want to talk about Trump for a little bit. That was the Trump segment. We're gonna shift gears, and we're gonna talk about So salute to everybody that joined in, and make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna shift gears, and we're gonna talk about this man. Do any of y'all know who this man is? Do y'all know who this man is? Shake it fast. Watch yourself. Shake it fast. Show me what you're working with. Shake it fast. Watch yourself. Show me what you're working with. Do y'all know who this man is? Do y'all know who this man is? I'm looking in the comment section, waiting for y'all to tell me who this man is. Do y'all know who this man is? Do you know who this man is? Somebody says he looks Muslim. Somebody says no, I don't know who he is. Nope, nope. I just want to see. I want to see if anybody has it. Does anybody have it? Don't give it away, Vint. Don't give it away, Vint. Somebody says LeBron James. I do not know. Oh, here we go. Somebody says it. Mystikal. We are here to talk about Mystikal. Mystikal. The rapper known as Mystikal. Let me put a earlier picture of him. Here we go. These were better days with Mystikal. These were better days in Mystikal. If you don't know who Mystikal is, he is a Louisiana rapper from the 90s to the early 2000s era, who has just pleaded guilty to grapes. And when I say grapes, I'm not talking about a bowl of grapes. I'm talking about something that rhymes with a bowl of grapes, right? But he pleaded guilty to SA. Of course, I can't say the word, but he pleaded to SA. And I just wanted to talk about the life and times of Mystikal. Um, Here you have a man who, in my opinion, had so much going for him in his career. Um, Hit records, an original sound, and he threw it all away. And this wasn't his first time. If you heard about his story, if you ever seen his story before, um, he got locked up a long time ago for the same crime. If memory serves me, um, he had a hairstylist, right? Back in the day, he had a hairstylist that worked for him, and one night he found out that she was stealing from him. That she was stealing from him. Um, and he found out, and he confronts her, and he says, "The only way that we're going to allow you to go home tonight is if you pleasure me and the rest of my entourage." And then the man, he winds up going to jail because of that. Very diabolical, very disgusting. Um, but he has pleaded guilty for his crimes against women. And I just like, where do you start with this dude? Like, I mean, it it just shows you that people like this exist in our community. And I don't want to make it just about the black community, because people like this exist. Give me one second. People like this exist. I mean, in all communities. I mean, we could point to the Harvey Weinsteins. We could point to the Jeffrey Epsteins. And I don't want to keep it just on that community, but we could point to different communities that have these types of people. And it's just sad. It's just sad about the victims. Um, it's also sad about his career. I mean, you had somebody that was very talented, somebody who had a lot of charisma, who had an original sound, and to see where he is now, it's crazy. Another man bites the dust. Another person, just that couldn't handle his urges. Who couldn't shake that off of him. Couldn't get it together. I mean, I'm just somebody says, "Man, this just got dark." I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. Somebody says, "How much time did they give him?" Well, he hasn't been sentenced yet. He will be sentenced, I think, in the next coming weeks. Um, um, I did see an article. Maybe I should look online. Give me 1 second. I did see an article that said that he may be getting 20 years. Let me see if I can look that up real quick for you. Um, Let me get my computer computing. Hold on. I did see somewhere where they said he may be getting 20 years. Um, Give me 1 second. I want to double check that. Let me see. Mystical. 20 years. See what pops up with that. Okay. Okay. No, this is not it. Give me 1 second. Mystical. Okay. He pleads guilty. He faces up to 20 years. So he's facing up to 20 years in prison. He hasn't been sentenced yet. He's facing up to 20 years. Now, let's be honest. The man is what? He's probably, let me look up how old he is. He's probably in his late 40s. I mean, the career is over. The career's been over. But let me just look up his age. Mystical's age. How old is this nigga? Mystical's age. He's 55. I mean, come on. 55? It's over. It's over. He's cooked. They're gonna be the justice system is gonna work him like a chicken bone in Harlem. It's over. All right. Um, but when you look at the R. Kellys, when you look at all of these like deviants, the Diddies, um, some of these guys need some help. Some of these guys just need some help. Some of these guys need some healing. It's just unfortunate and sad. And that whole verses went down, and a lot of people felt like he should have been there. You had Cash Money versus No Limit. A lot of people felt that Mystical should have been there. Mystical was very important to the No Limit, record label. Wayne says he had a slight chance when he got out, but he tripped out. Yeah, he did get out. He started running with Young Money, YMCMB, and I always felt like that was a poor fit for him. I felt like he should have never been there. That was never the right fit for him. Young Money. I think he should have been. He should have probably went to No Limit. Probably should have went to I don't know. I don't know exactly where. Maybe MMG. But I always felt like YMCMB, that was just a poor fit for him. His brand didn't warrant him being there. You know, he should have been somewhere else. But it just shows me that this man has had a problem, because there was a point in time where I believe that because a lot of times when we hear rappers getting caught up in these types of cases, we say, you know what, he's a superstar, he's a big rapper. Why would he do something like that? Maybe this girl is just making this up. This is telling me that this man has had this problem. For you to get two charges that are similar like this, it tells me you got a problem. That you were really a menace. And I did a look. I'm happy I just remember this. He has a song. You know, a lot. I believe that a lot of these artists have been telling us from the door, from the get go of their careers. who they are. Like when you look at R. Kelly's work, a lot of people cringe at the songs. They cringe, like, is he talking about an underage girl? Is he not? Is he singing about an underage girl? A lot of people cringe at a lot of R. Kelly's old work. And I believe that a lot of these artists, they tell you who they are. They tell you that they're this deviant. They tell you that they're this sex obsessed person. They tell you these things. So I was scouring through the catalog of Mystical, and I found this song. He has a song called PU, dollar sign, Y, crook. He has a song about taking the cat. Was this foreshadowing? Was he telling us from the beginning that he was a man with a problem? He was a man dealing with this issue. He had a song called, you see the title. Look at that title. This was on the Tarantula album. Y'all remember this album? This one has, well, the people that remember Mystical, y'all remember this album. Did he always have these issues? Did he always have these demons? Did he always have this? And maybe he was telling us, maybe we didn't believe him, maybe we didn't want to believe him. Y'all tell me. Because I scoured through his discography and I found that. And I was just like, really? He had a song called that? Very interesting. And a lot of people, they go back into R. Kelly songs and they say, you know what? Seems like you're ready. Seems like you're ready. Come on, y'all. Seems like you're ready. It seems like you might have been with some women you probably should have, well, girls you shouldn't have been around. That's what it seems like. Seems like you're ready. Seems like you're ready. I'm just keeping it real. Salute the vent. I'm just keeping it real. Keeping it real. But yeah, he's pleading guilty. Um, he's facing up to 20 years. As a 55-year-old rapper, you get a 20-year, you get a 20 ball. We could say it's cooked, right? You could say it's cooked. Anybody that's an artist and you're that age and you get 50, you're 50 and you get 20 years. I mean, come on. No, nobody's gonna be wanting to look for Mystical when he's 70 years old. Um, it's crazy. It's just crazy. It's very crazy. Somebody says, Dr. Bingledary says he's gonna get 10. I disagree. I don't think he's gonna get 10. I don't think he's gonna get 10. I think that a judge will look at his former priors, they will look at his former charges, they will look at his criminal history and take that into account. And they will say, well, listen, you had a charge back in the day, and it's a similar charge. We can't give you 10 years. We can't possibly give you 10 years. And the parole board comes around maybe in the fifth or seventh year and say, you know what, we're gonna decide to send you home. And like, come on, we can't. I mean, after he has this type of criminal past and this criminal history of doing this crime, he may have to sit down for more than 20 years. They may request that he sit down for more than 20 years. And I'm not wishing that on him, but I mean, just saying. Gabe says Mystical gonna get his boots smoked at trial. Yeah, because they're gonna take into account the history. When you're a career criminal and you have these types of diabolical crimes on you, we're not talking about you stealing a candy bar out of the convenience store. We're not talking about you stealing a pie off of some old women's window Still, we're talking about some serious things and hurting people and changing and altering people's lives forever. Um, so yeah, they're probably going to cook him. Probably going to cook him. Somebody says, "What state is he being tried in?" That's a good question. Let me see it. Let me find out if this is Louisiana, because he's from Louisiana. So let me find out what state this is. I think this is Louisiana, or maybe. Give me one second. Let me find this out real quick. Let me find out what state was. What state is this? That's actually a very good question. Um, Let me find out. I think this is Louisiana. Yeah, Louisiana. Yep. He faces up to 20 years after entering plea in state court outside Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Yep. This is Louisiana. He's getting cooked. He's gonna get cooked for that. Yeah, in Louisiana, isn't is Louisiana a Commonwealth? Is Louisiana? Does anybody know if is Louisiana a Commonwealth? I mean, based off of the fact that he's a career criminal and he's had these charges, I mean, a judge is not going to give him any type of leniency. They're going to look at the fact that he's done this already. They're going to say, well, you had these charges already. We can't just give you 10 years. We got to give you the maximum. We may have to give you more than the maximum. There's no way possibly they could just say, we're going to give you the minimum. The minimum for what? He's been through this already. Oh, wow. The Louisiana has the penalty? I didn't know that. Yeah, but it's just like, it's crazy. When you look at his situation, when you look at R. Kelly, it's just like, as a fan, do you feel like, and I'm not a fan of Mystical like that. I mean, I like some of the songs, but is there anything? Do you feel like maybe if they would have never been stars, maybe they would have been in a better position. Maybe they wouldn't have been, exercising these things that they were doing. Maybe they should. Maybe they would have never been put in that position. Something to think about. Pleads guilty, facing up to 20 years. My cousin wanted me to talk about Mano, but I don't really, because I wanted to play the video, but I don't have the video. I'm on my phone, so I don't have the video in front of me. So maybe I'll save that for another day. And my cousin wanted me to get into Mano and his issues with 50, but I think I'll save that. I also wanted to talk about Dwight Howard. The video came out of the body cam video for the police came out. I wanted to talk about that, but I'm on my phone, so I mean I can't play the video on the type of system I have right now. So maybe we'll save that for another day. Uh Lobo says every man knows what type of man he is. What he does about it is another story. I agree. I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree with you. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story. Let me know what you guys think of the whole Donald Trump situation, the whole mystical situation. Salute to Dr. Dr. Bingle, Dr. Dr. Bingledary, 97. He says, good conversation with the 999. Good conversation. Salute to Dr. Bingle. Respect, respect, respect. Salute to Dr. Bingle Dairy 97 for checking in. I appreciate you. I appreciate the super chat, man. Salute. Salute. Yeah, man. In terms of like mystical, um, let me ask y'all this, right? Give me one second. What's the lifespan of a rapper, right? What's the lifespan of a rapper that gets out of a jail? Let's say you get out of jail. and there's a couple of instances, right? You got Max B. Max B is what? I think he's 40, late 40s. You got Fetty Wap, but Fetty Wap is kind of a younger guy. I can't put Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap is like in his 30s. He's still a young guy. Um, but you got people like Bootsy. Bootsy got out when he was 40. What's the lifespan for a rapper that old? What's their lifespan? Do you give them a year or two? Will people care? I mean, they're not like, for a rapper that age, in my opinion, to survive the times, right? You got to be a legacy act. You got to be a legacy act, like a Jay Z, a Nas, a Snoop, Ice Cube, a Wu Tang. I'm trying to think of more legacy acts. A Little Kim, 50 Cent, Eminem. I feel like if you're that age, you got to be kind of a legacy act. I mean, who wants to see Bootsy? And I'm not saying Bootsy and is not doing shows. I'm sure he pulls up to a club and he gets a nice check from pulling up to a club. But I'm talking about like a nice concert hall, a nice stadium, a nice arena hall. Who wants to see some of these guys? Like at that particular age, like what's the lifespan for a rapper that old? If you're not a legacy act, if you're not like an act that's been in the game for 30, 40 years with quality music. I mean, I don't like who really wants to see you. A lot of these guys, they don't really want to see some of these guys. Somebody says Ice Cube's still cool. Yeah, I mean, I think Ice Cube is a legacy act. Ice Cube been doing it for so long. So I mean, Ice Cube is a legacy act. Somebody says Ti. Yeah, Ti is a legacy act. But if you're saying Ti in terms of Ti got out of prison. Ti got out when he was young. Ti was still in his 30s when he got out. So I mean, and he became a legacy act. So I mean, in my opinion, I don't think Ti fits that bill. Vince says Boosie's best song is they DYK. I don't want to say the word, but yeah, I agree. I agree. That's a hit down south. That's a hit down south. Dr. Bingledary 97 says, "Isn't that all music? All yeah, you can say that's all music. It's not just hip hop because there are white bands that are probably at this particular point in time that people don't necessarily want to see, and they're older. But when you look at the yeah, what you're saying is true because like the legacy bands, like a AC/DC, a Metallica, I mean, they could tour the world right now. So, in a way, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on if you're a legacy actor or if you're not. You know, FBA says Ti was in his 30s when he came out. Then Boosie got mad when his daughter turned rainbow. Yeah, he was mad about that. Yeah, Ti was in his 30s. When he caught that gun case, I mean, that was in the early 2000s. That was like 2007, right? 2008, 2009. I mean, he was still 30. He's 40 plus now. But back then, when he caught that case, he was still in his 30s. He was still a younger guy. He wasn't like an older guy. Like a lot of these guys now are older. They're like 40 plus right now. Like, Max B, he's up there. I'm a fan of Max B, but he's an older guy now. He's not Max B at 30, you know? Boosie was 40 when he started rapping. Nah, he been doing his thing when he was younger guy. When he was younger guy, he was doing his thing. He got the records out when he was younger. That's funny though. Yeah, somebody Wayne says he 50 now, trying the ish. That's a fact. Did y'all see Bootsy down there in spring break in Houston? He out there in spring break. He act like he a young boy. Like Boosie, you're 50 years old. Why are you at spring break? When you're at a particular age, you're too old for spring break. You're too old for spring break. Dr. Bengal Derry says all musicians have one hit, and then if they get one more, they'll have 5 years. And then if they get multiple platinums. Only 1% can go a decade, and only 0.01% go multi decades. I agree. I think that percentage is very low. It's not a lot of rappers that have that, or musicians that have that staying power. Um, but in terms of like you know, Boosie, he was down there in Houston, and I'm thinking to myself like, yo, this is like spring break. Like me personally, I'm in my 30s. I'm in my 30s. If I was to go down to spring break, I would feel like a old nigga down there. I'm 30 and I'm looking at Bootsy at 40, and I'm like, what is this old nigga doing down there? Like, first of all, these young people, they're not even jacking you. Their heroes is NBA young boy and Playboy Cardi. Like, they not even looking at you. You just the old nigga at the party. Go home, Bootsy. Go take care of your kids. Go take care of your take care of your grandbabies, bro. Actually, Wayne says, looking at them little spring breakers, yeah, he probably trying to catch a little youngin down there, something like that. Yeah, man. Yeah, like what is Boosie doing down there? Like he don't need to be down there. Martin says, you a hater, bro. How am I a hater, bro? You're 49 years old. What are you down there in spring break? Like I said, like at a point in time, it's certain time at a point in time in your life, it's certain things you got to put down. You can't be at all the parties when you hit a certain age, especially not a spring break. I'm not saying you can't party at all. I'm not saying Boosie can't go to a club every now and then, pop up and just show his face, have a drink, chill out, go to a strip club at his age. I didn't say that. I'm saying spring break. Spring break is for kids in college. That's not for Bootsy. That's not your scene. That's not your scene. He's almost 50. He's probably 50. I'm not saying he can't go to a club. I'm not saying he can't go out and enjoy himself, but you don't belong in no spring break with college kids. They don't even know Boosie's music like that. Boosie came out in the early 2000s. And ain't nobody know his music like that. They on the NBA YoungBoy. They on NBA YoungBoy. They on 42 Doug. They on, you know what I mean, Lil Durk, Playboy Cardi, Ken Carson. I don't know about no INDEP. You know what that mean? She got her own house. She got her own car. They like it. They like it. They don't know that. They don't know them songs. They don't know them songs. Just keeping it real. He was down there with BG. Somebody said who he go down there with. He was down there with BG. And I was like, yo, look at these two. Look at these two grandparents at the spring break. I'm thinking they down there with their kids. I'm sure they kids was looking at them like, what are these niggas doing down there? I ain't. Their kids was probably looking at them like, I ain't even down there. What are they doing down there? These niggas got kids that need to be down there, but they down there having a grand old time. Hip hop got to grow up, man. Hip hop got to grow up. Listen, man, it's okay to act your age. It's okay to be your age. Hip hop got to grow up. At some point, hip hop got to, stay home, take care of the kids, take care of the grandbabies. Make sure the mortgage is paid off. Make sure you're taking your blood pressure medication. Hip hop got to grow up, man. Just because you're a rapper don't mean you got to be in the club at 50. That you got to be in the club at 40. Grow up. Are these rappers still gonna be going to the club in their 60s? When they're in their 60s, when they're 70s, they still gonna be going to the clubs? They're gonna be putting on the jewelry, putting on the set. I'm headed to the club, Boosie. INDEP. Do you know what that means? She got her own house. She got her own car. Y'all want to see Boosie in the club at 70 years old? INDEP. Do you know what that means? Turning up. Like, dog, you're 70 years old. Let the youngins have their era, bro. Let the young people have their era. You had your era. You grew up in the 90s or you grew up in the 2000s. You had your time. You had, you smashed the girls, you went to the parties, you got drunk, you got high, you turned up, you had wild nights. Let the youngins have their era, bro. Take your old ass home. Leave the young girl alone. Let the young girl at the party find the young man at the party. Take your old ass home. Martin says, you a big hater for sure. How am I a hater? I'm just calling it what it is, man. I'm talking about some real stuff. See, you're not there yet. You're not you haven't matured. You haven't used your brain, bro. You don't belong. An old man don't belong in no club at a certain point in time. You're supposed to be with your kids. You're supposed to be there with your wife. Well, you gotta level up at some point. You can't be, chasing young girls in club. You're gonna chase a girl. You're gonna chase young girls in clubs your whole life. Your whole life you're gonna chase young girls in the club. Your whole life. You don't got no goals. You don't got no aspirations in life. You don't got things you want to do, things you want to accomplish, things you want to take off your list, places you want to go, places you want to see. You don't want to prioritize being with your wife. You don't want to prioritize being with your kids. You want to just chase young girls in the club all night for the rest of your life. That's not what you want. If that's what you want, that's what you want. But a lot of people don't want to spend their lives like that. Just keeping it real. Uh but listen, y'all, it's getting kind of late. I gotta get up in the morning. Um, if this is your first time here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. This is the check-in report. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And listen, guys, we're probably gonna do a live tomorrow. We'll see what the topics are gonna be. We may do another Donald Trump, may talk about Donald Trump for another a little bit a while and talk a little bit more about Donald Trump. We'll see how that story um evolves. But with that being said, listen, y'all have a good night, you have a good week, you have a productive week, and I'll see you guys another live, man. We out. You have a good night, man. Toodles. Oh yeah, and salute to my mods, man. Salute to Vent. Salute to FBA. Salute to all my mods. And listen, if this is your first time here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, man. We're gonna be doing more lives, more streams. So tune in. We're gonna be doing lives. I'm gonna be doing lives every day, talking, getting these topics out, talking to you guys. So make sure you guys like, comment. Oh yeah, and salute to Doctor Dingleberry. I forgot. Salute to Doctor Dingleberry, bro. He was doing this thing. Salute to him, man. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night, man. We out. Toodles.